So, I told you a story before about how I dropped out of high school and didn't have any grades, and that I've been working part-time jobs in warehouses for well over 5 years until I finally got a fixed position at DHL Express, where I managed to work my way up to become a supervisor. I then started my own YouTube channel, got a viral video that helped me to pursue my career on YouTube and build a 6-figure business, my own YouTube studio, my own garage, and my own freaking house. And now I'm about to build my own freaking pool as well. They're coming with the first delivery of the pool, which is a little bit exciting. I have no idea how to build a pool. I'm preparing to build one. However this is going to turn out, we're gonna have to see. It sounds great, right? Well, I'm still struggling every single day to accept where I am right now. And in this video, I want to talk about why. To understand where the struggle comes from, I think it's important that we go back and look at where it all began and some of the things that has shaped my mindset along the way. If this is your first time here, this is going to be the short version. So I dropped out of high school, as I said, and I didn't have any grades. Wow, that haircut, that was something else. The first fixed position that I got was at a hardware store in the warehouse department. And unfortunately, I got laid off after 2.5 years. From that point on, I tried to start my own business, but it didn't take off. Instead, I managed to rack up over $10,000 of debt with an interest rate of 17%. But if you fast forward to 2019, by the end of it, I managed to post this one viral video that changed the course of everything. And fast forward another 6 years, I've now been able to build the life that I never thought was going to be possible for me looking back at where I came from. Now, what some people might fail to realize is that none of this was handed to me. I have built this studio that I'm currently standing in with my own 2 hands. So I'm gonna start out by cleaning everything out so that we can get a free space that we can start working on. That's a lot of crap.
It doesn't matter if I take it off, I look alike.
I remember when I decided to actually build out this studio and took on the project of, creating this space. And I had to sacrifice so much time with my family that if I could go back and change one thing today, it would probably be to not be away as much as I was. But taking a step back and seeing where I am right now, I also wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And if I didn't take the time to do the things I did back then, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. That feels like a paradox. When I started YouTube, I had absolutely no plans. I had no business sense. And as I said, I had a debt that I was still paying off at the beginning of my YouTube career. And when that one viral video took off, I tried to work 12 to 16-hour days to maintain the momentum that video got me. And that is also when I started to build my own YouTube studio. And it's easy to look at the space now and think that, wow, Peter really has a great space. Yeah, I do. And I'm super grateful for it. But I also know that I've been spending these 12, 16, 18-hour days at times to actually be there on my own, building it piece by piece. Before I became a YouTuber, you may or may not know that I was heavy into bodybuilding. I was this big dude. I was 130 kilos heavy. And I spent over 13 years committed to the craft of bodybuilding. And it taught me so much when it comes to consistency, dedication, and motivation. And back in 2014, I actually did a competition prep and looked like this, but I've never felt so bad in my entire life. So I didn't actually follow through and did the competition. I've been getting questioned a lot if I regret not following it through, but there's what a lot of people don't know is that there was this day that I woke up, I think it was 2 weeks out from the competition, and I was sitting on the bedside, looking down into the floor, walking up, going to the mirror, looking at myself in the mirror, and all I saw was crap. Nothing looked good. I looked depleted. I looked like shit. My mental ghosts that I had was such an incredibly heavy burden. So I sat back down on the bed and I started to cry. Like I didn't know what to do. All the work that I poured in was about to culminate in this competition. And yet the only thing that I felt was that I do not want to do this. I feel so incredibly bad and this is not my thing. So I stopped. And it's actually one of the best decisions that I've done, because if I did follow through on making that competition, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. I kept up bodybuilding up until the beginning of 2018, where I decided to actually quit. I basically lost the interest of going to the gym and I want to spend my time elsewhere, because maintaining a body that is 130 kilos heavy with a 15% body fat like that, it costs a lot of money if you got to eat a lot of protein and carbohydrates that is clean. So instead of spending my time in the gym, I actually shifted my mindset and took the time that I would spend on going to the gym and working out to practicing with the camera. When I took the decision to stop going to the gym and stop doing bodybuilding, it felt like the right thing to do. But the mental struggles that comes with that is not something that I could have expected. And that struggle to allow myself to accept the changes in myself still influences me to this day on how I approach success and self-worth. You know, when I stopped bodybuilding, it was not just about not going to the gym or not eating the right food. It was about seeing myself change in different ways that was very hard to accept. Like, I went from this superhuman physique that I had and identified with to watch it slowly fade away into what we call a normal body. And every single week and every single month that I looked myself in the mirror, it felt like I was losing a part of who I was. For so many years, my identity was tied to how I looked. To be bigger, to be stronger, and more disciplined than the average person, like that was who I was. To be able to let go of the identity that I was, and then allowing myself to accept this new person that I turned into, is one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And it's been 7 years, and I still struggle with that to this day. So over the course of these years, I've been trying to come to terms with the fact that I'm not that person anymore. And it's not just about the muscle mass. It's about realizing and accepting that my value is not tied to how I look or how much I lift. But that is also easier said than done. But that experience of accepting myself has taught me how hard it can be to let go of an identity that you've tied so much of your self-worth into. And the more that I've achieved in my career and the more things that I've tried, I've also realized that that feeling is never going to go away. They just take on a different shape. And that is what a lot of people call... It is that nagging feeling that is telling you that your success is not real. And the things that you've accomplished so far is something that you don't deserve. It's when you think that you're just lucky, or I'm just fooling everyone here and someone will soon figure things out. And like, I don't know what I'm doing. Your brain creating this constant fear of you not being good enough, even though everything else that you've accomplished so far says otherwise. And there's also this underlying feeling that everything that I built up when it comes to YouTube and social media will be gone soon, and someone will take it away, and I don't know when, so I constantly need to fight for that to not happen. So for me, I think a lot of it is tied to my past, with me dropping out of high school without any grades and only working part-time jobs and not seeing a way out from there. And a part of me still feels like I'm the same person that I was 10 years ago, even though I worked so incredibly hard to build up the life that I have today. But the first viral video that I had was the poker B-roll, and it was amazing. Like, not the video itself, like the video is great, but the feeling of getting that viral hit that just takes off. But it also set the bar so high, man. Like, I've been chasing that high ever since. Like, every video that I make and every project and every idea that I get, I want to be at the same level of that. But accepting the fact that it's not going to be that is also something that I struggle with every day. I guess you can compare it to me stopping bodybuilding, because that actually taught me a lot about success. And It's that nothing is permanent and things constantly changes. And when it comes to creating YouTube videos, it's not about, the more time you spend, the better your video is going to be. It's more so about the idea that you get and when you act upon it, and if that resonates together with the audience that is watching it. So I want to give you a couple of things that you can use in your own journey if you're feeling imposter syndrome, or if you just have a hard time of actually accepting yourself, that I've had. Number one is going to be celebrate your progress. No matter how small it is or how big it is, it's important that you look back and see how far you've come from the starting point where you began. And number two is whenever imposter syndrome creeps up on you, you gotta stop thinking about like, am I really good enough? You gotta reframe that and start to think about everything that you learn and have learned on this journey so far. And number three is don't chase perfection, because there's no such thing as perfection. Focus on the progress, because the progress is what builds the momentum. And number four is going to be to find your why. When things get hard, like, why are you doing things? When things go against you, why are you doing things? When you don't have a motivation to do something, why did you start in the first place? So I want to finish up with saying thank you, and just a quick reminder that none of this would have been possible without you being there watching my videos and sticking with me throughout these 5-6 years that we've been doing this, which is crazy at this point. And if there's one thing that I know counts, especially on social media, it's that you gotta show up. And whatever you're working on, no matter if it's you building a business or you're hitting fitness goals or you're becoming the best videographer in the world, you always gotta remember that it's the small, consistent actions that yields the biggest results. And if you're watching the video up until this point, then you need to drop a comment and tell me what you're working on right now. Like, are you not being consistent enough, and why? Are you not having enough motivation and lack of dedication? Whatever it is, do drop a comment. And thanks so much for watching. If this was your first time here, don't forget to subscribe as well and give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and Peter from Sweden will say goodbye. See you in the next video.